Ready to go? Okay, you want to open up the meeting? I will buy.
Yep.
Well, welcome everyone to our board meeting. Our agenda for this evening.
Hey, I lost the sound. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Okay,
I lost it too, Ted.
Okay, but now you're good?
No.
Yeah,
we
good
can't.
now. Good now.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the first statement is the Manor House is open for members almost. We're expecting Nate to give us an update or the LRP on the project, but we're almost across that line. So I just want to recognize the members, appreciate your support for the projects, patience, and significant improvements in the kitchen. So these are some big projects that have been going on and a lot of hard work going into it. As important, our committees have been working on the next scope of projects and defining them for improving our infrastructure, improving our facilities for both the golf and our entertainment infrastructures. And we're working hard on developing these next set of projects. I would like to introduce our new board member, Bob Rush. He's been with the club for quite a while. He's joined the board this month. Bob's filling in for Marvin McDaniel's board term, which started in 2022. So Bob will be with us for a few years. He's also Bob has agreed to act as our board secretary, which was filling in for Marvin, who was filling that role. And Bob will give us a brief update, but I would encourage you to reach out to him and his wife, Melanie, to get to know him if you don't. Bob, would you like to say a couple words?
Yeah, thanks, everybody. Everybody that's here and everybody online. Really excited to participate in helping move this club forward. I've been a member since 2009, but wasn't around much the last few years. Moved down to Larkspur with my wife, Melanie. And you're going to see a lot more of me around here as well. It's going to take me a little bit of time to get up to speed and learn a lot more about what's going on. I do want to thank the staff that have been here in the building while it's been closed. They've been great in sharing some time and just some good conversation, helping me learn what's what and who's who around the club. I've met with the board members as well and got some good background. So hopefully I can add to the mix. And I urge you all to consider serving the club in some capacity in the future, because I can say from past experience and from my first board meeting tonight that it's really, really rewarding. So thank you.
Thank you, Bob. And teeing up, our treasurer, Dan, is going to talk about reporting on our first quarterly progress report on our strategic initiatives and our performance indicators on our long-range goals. I think it's important to keep members aware and particularly to ask for your participation as we progress our overall club goals. And again, although the club's been closed, the team's been busy in many areas, and I think Nate and his team going to share some of the improvements that they've been working on and the changes to enhance your experience as a member.
Okay.
Maybe hard to see the text that size, but we'll go over some of the activities that the board has done since the last meeting. We voted to accept Marvin McDaniel's resignation. We also voted in Bob to fill in for his replacement we just discussed. We also had the opportunity, or Jason had the opportunity to remove 4 trees from around number 12 green to improve the lighting on the green, and he'll talk about that a bit more probably. Voted to increase the initiation fees for both junior and professional, as our fees have gone up for full equity members. We're escalating both the junior and professional in line with those. We also voted to approve, update some of our professional waitlist rules. As we've started that professional waitlist rules, we've defined some of the terms on that, and that will be kind of rolled out as part of that as we continue with putting people onto the waitlist for these membership categories.
Okay. Sure, best place to go now. Yeah, I'm here in the corner. I can't see now, that's a problem. So we had 1 month of our financials for this new fiscal year put together. We, obviously we're slower with the closed golf course and the food and beverage, but we had that planned in our budget. We knew how that was gonna go, so we actually were able to end the month of January ahead of budget, because we had some membership sales come in, initiation fees, our FME count was above, almost 5, so that's great. Bringing those dollars in, helped us in the membership, as you can see. It also helped our capital fund get a little ahead for the year, transferring some of those now 85% of initiation fees, net of expenses, over to the capital fund. So that was great to see. Pro Shop had some sales and merchandise that they had not planned. And then we had some general savings and expenses. And as you can see, $66,000 net loss for January when we had planned 79,000. I don't think there's any other notes I've missed. Our operating cash reserve now is 70,000. That is our second year now that we've had that, and that's truly for operating to help negate any type of assessment to members. That will be, that 70,000 would be used first. So that's great. That's all about for financials. Our audit is coming up. Hopefully we'll be able to present an overview of that quickly in March. So far that process has gone just fine. Any questions?
I don't see anything online. I don't see anything in the chat.
Yeah, okay. Next is Dan. So I'm gonna stop sharing this really quick because Dan has a different slide that talks about.
I'm gonna ask you to toggle to back and forth to, or you don't have the outline behind it.
I have the
I'm not
PD
gonna- I did at least want to show that just so people could see.
and this one right here. I
While
do.
you're doing that, I'll go ahead and start. So,
This one right here.
I'm thinking,
Yeah.
as Gary mentioned, we spent a good portion of 2022 working on our strategic plan, which I think is super important for any club to have in place, so that you are defining more kind of what the vision of the club is and what are the steps that are required to help you achieve that vision. Our strategic plan is really broken down into 4 different categories, and they are exclusive membership, amazing experience, robust financials, and healthy management. And there's 2 things that we have on this. And I think you said you could jump, right?
What do you want to jump to?
To the strategic initiatives, if you're able to.
Oh, the blue one, yeah, it's this one?
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna cover this document, but I did want to make sure that everyone is aware, and please mention it to your friends as well, as we really would like people to review this on the website. So this document contains all of the initiatives that we're working on, what the current status is, and who's the owner of that. Okay, so those, the initiatives, and then we have once a quarter, you will also see from us kind of our scorecard or report card on how we're doing on those initiatives because we've taken those initiatives and then sort of distilled it down into what are the KPIs that best represent our progress or lack thereof on those initiatives. So if you will go scroll up now, please. So I won't go through this item by item. I will talk a little bit more. By the way, so we've used a typical green, yellow, red scoring system. Green means that we're on track, making progress. Yellow means that we still have work to do. But we're not in a terrible spot. And if anything was red, that would sort of be like that. It would, kind of demand immediate attention if we've identified something as being important to the club and we're not coming close to meeting the objective on that. So under exclusive membership, as you can see, we're doing quite well on the golf membership side. And I'll talk a little bit about initiation fees. Came up earlier, I think, as far as we've increased our initiation fees for full members from 8,000 to 15,000 in less than a year. And this requires a lot of effort by Landon, and we're continuing to work on as far as sort of refining is number one, what clubs do we compare ourselves against, and also the schedule on which we do those comparisons. So we gave ourselves a yellow on that one. The next one is, and this is kind of a pretty important metric for all clubs, and that is what percent of your membership dues make up of the total club operating revenue. And our target for this is 40%. This is always going to be hard for us to achieve. And the reason is that we have a cap only 315, one of perhaps the lowest in the area. And also, we also always strive to keep our operating dues as low as possible. Okay. What it means, however, and the reason why it's yellow is that when you're only getting, in our case, 36% from your operating dues, we're a little bit more reliant on doing things like, that's why we have outside Monday tournaments. That's why we do, in fact, have some weddings and other private parties during the course of the year. Okay. And then our next one is sort of just utilization of the manor house. You can see the numbers there. We're yellow, but we're really trending to green. We made the one I won't comment on is the fact that the number of people that came into the manor house that had a ticket grew by 16% last year to close to 50,000, which is our target goal, just slightly below, so we gave ourselves a yellow. Okay. If you saw the January fairway views, you'll see the next one that talks about the changes from a tee sheet utilization standpoint. The financial ones I actually talked about last month, and so I will continue down to the bottom. And a lot of these really has to do is that we talked about it earlier this evening. Is that now that we've gone through this process of building our strategic plan, we're identifying the initiatives required to bring that plan to life. Of course, the bottom one is basically how we need to keep ourselves accountable really over a period of years that we're executing on that cycle. Okay. We're because of the progress we made over the last year, we actually gave ourselves green in the first two. And for the last one on membership communication, really, we just gave ourselves a yellow there. We did 2 member surveys there. We need to refine that to make sure we're getting the views of our members on a variety of different topics as to how the club operates. So this document, of course, will also be posted to the website.
Hey, Dan, Ted's got a question.
Sure.
Ted,
Is
Ted,
it
do you
speaker
wanna-
chat?
I think he's in the chat, but he didn't really ask the question. He just says he has a question regarding. the
Yeah.
points.
I didn't want to butt in. So thank you for that introduction, Kelly. Hey, so Dad, just on the 40% target for dues as proportion of revenue. So I'm a little bit confused. I guess I don't understand why that's a good target, because you know, we could get to that 40% target by reducing revenue. You know, if we had less F&B sales or pro shop sales, we might get to that 40%. So I'm not sure why 36% isn't a good number, or is the implication that we'd like to do less external events, which are by their nature are member prohibiting?
It's really the second part, Ted, right? Just so you know, is that the 40% that we chose is actually a pretty modest target. Club benchmarking would recommend a target way above that, I believe 50%, Ted. And so, but ours is lower, partially because of the fact that we have such a low cap. But really, it's more of a way of, as far as that kind of making sure we're always thinking about that trade-off, right? That if we want to have these things, that we're going to continue to be somewhat reliant on some of these sources of outside revenue that I mentioned, like the Monday tournaments, like the inconvenience of having some weddings throughout the year. Does that answer your question?
It does. So I guess it's an interesting balance, because I think I'm right in saying that we're all comfortable with the cap where it is, and we know we like the level of play of use of the golf course. We don't want that to increase, and I think we're comfortable with the balance of dues and versus weddings and things like that. So it's interesting. So it's keeping a balance below those things, and I think what you're saying there is that our 40% where we're at is different to other people, but it's because we have a different balance to what other people might look at.
Yes, and probably a different balance than other clubs, right?
Yeah. No, it's interesting.
Although Ted, just to be clear, as far as that, not only I think us as a board, but we like to think, I think the members think that overall, all in, that's a good trade-off to have a lower cap than almost any club, right? And to make a conscious effort to keep our dues as reasonable as possible.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So I wonder, does that balance get stated anywhere for people to see? Because I think, you know, we all, probably everybody on the call here understands that balance, but there's probably a lot of members don't, you know, including the members who won't moan about weddings, but also moan about their dues. It's kind of it's a really important statement. I think it's a really interesting one. I don't know how we could communicate that, but it's
actually, Ted, so that's a good point. I think that we should take a look as far as how we could perhaps be a little bit more kind of be more effective communicating that message.
Right.
Cool. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Again, we would urge everyone to please look at these documents on the website.
Yeah, where do they go on the website to find it?
It's gonna be either under business
Club
or,
business.
yeah, club business. They'll put like all the minutes and wherever. I'll get it to Emily.
So I think Ted, same question. The strategic plan docs are located same area?
Same-
Yeah, it was the same as what Dakota asked.
Yep.
Okay. Back to slides. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
Oh, hold up, Kevin, 1 second.
We can do it after
Do you want?
80 minutes.
Okay.
All right, hello, everyone. Good evening, Kevin Brown here. I get the honor to introduce Shay Maras as our featured employee of the month. Perry Park Country Club is recognizing her for the month of March. Fun facts, she is originally from Larkspur, so she is a native of Colorado and the local area. She attended Castle View High School. She was hired as a server, and her anniversary is coming up. She'll be here for a year in a few weeks. And she just turned 21. She got a chance to celebrate her birthday in Las Vegas. With some of her friends. I guess what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Favorite aspect of Prairie Park is the community the regulars, members that she sees on a regular basis. Little known fact about Shay is that her parents are members as well. She would come into the club kind of on a regular basis, and that's where I got a chance to meet her. And she wanted to apply for a position, and she joined the team. Hobbies, she loves to cook, quilt, and spend time with her dogs. Slide, please. Interesting places she has traveled, south of Spain. She enjoys the culture and the food there. Funniest, best story about working at Prairie Park, which is the same as others. The men's invitational, she got a chance to work the beverage cart and had a great time interacting out on the course. So she really enjoyed that. Something unique about Shay, she conducts orchestra. So in her high school, she did orchestra. Next slide. So a little bio that I put together, or just a little thank you for Shay. She absolutely deserves to be highlighted, introduced in this setting. She's a great addition to Prairie Park. She does so much for food and beverage. She works in so many different areas around the club, including Max's and the beverage cart. She's learning how to bartend. She created the Razzmatazz, which is on our cocktail menu. You definitely need to give that a try. So she's just a great overall person with a great attitude. Very optimistic about working in every position that we have. So just thank you to Shay for being a part of the team.
Okay, now do you want to do those minutes? Okay.
We skipped over the approval of the last meeting minutes, so I would move that we approve last month's minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Fun fact about Shay, she writes novels. I'm not even sure I can read a novel. Bernstein does. Hello, everyone online. It's Keith. Little update on what's happening in golf, not a whole lot. We're excited to get the season going. It can't come soon enough at this point, and I'm sure you all feel the same way. A few updates on our area, staffing. This is the time of year where we certainly dive all in on building the team back up with a really seasonal team. There's always a whole lot of new faces each year. We will have a PGM intern coming on board. His name is Danny Canjo, level 2 student there at UCCS. Really good guy, so I'm sure you all have a chance to get to know him well this season. Returning team members, Lanny and Cameron will be back as assistant golf professionals for us, and then quite a few faces that have become critical parts of the team last year. So guys like Eddie, Tom, Josh Reed, Casey, they're all looking to come back as well. So we're excited to have them back on board. Over the next couple of months, so if you have any people you know that might be looking for a job, March and April will be a big push for us to hire our outside service team, as well as a couple folks for the golf shop. Upcoming events, a whole lot of things. We're getting to that point of the year. But, PPMGL, so the Prairie Park Men's Golf League registration will open March 1st. You'll see some communication come out from us on that.
Can
And
I
then,
just interrupt to
yes,
say that
ma'am.
the PPWGA
yes,
is also open now?
yes, open now.
Registrations. Yes.
So, and really the highlight there is without listing, the 40 different events that you're gonna have a chance to register for, hop on Fortis, take a look at that event list. You'll see a whole lot of things coming up. So everything from our match plays to the leagues, PPWGA open now. They're having a luncheon on this Saturday. So if you haven't RSVP'd for that, please do. And then one important highlight there on the calendar, junior golf. So historically at Perry Park, we've done the junior golf play camp. That happens on Thursday mornings. That will continue. However, we're gonna add a couple things to that as well this year. So we're gonna do a kickoff camp, May 30th, 31st, and June 1st. And then the following week, June 6th and 7th, before that play camp gets going. So the emphasis there is gonna be really diving in on some of those skills that maybe the junior has lost over the winter, or maybe never had a chance to learn in the first place. So really getting an investment in those juniors before the kickoff camp begins. And then throughout the season, Sunday afternoons, we'll do drop-in clinics. So they don't have to register for a full series. They just happen to be with grandma and grandpa for that weekend, or they can come out and on Sunday afternoon and drop in for a chance to learn from Danny and Cameron. Changes for 2023, you all have heard this before, bit of a broken record, but just a repeat of some key changes for golf operations. So your tee time booking window is now 14 days. So you have 14 days to book those tee times. That will go live at 7 a.m. 14 days out. Those X's will drop off 7 days out. So if you're making a tee time within 7 days of your tee times, you won't be able to throw X's on that tee sheet. You'll need to have your players' names. Guest play policy has changed. You can bring a regular guest, so non-family member guest, 8 times throughout the season. Family member guest can join you 12 times during the season. And then handicap posting percentage will be a key emphasis for the GTNH committee all season long. Just a reminder on that, 75% is your minimum posting percentage to participate in the leagues and tournaments. Any questions?
None in the chat.
Nothing from Ted?
I love following this guy. I love following this guy. Jason here for those online. Just a quick golf course update. We still do remain snow covered. We've had 8.5 inches so far in February. We just get to the point where we're able to open, and there's a projected 3 to 6 tonight. I think that's dropping off down to possibly 3, so that'll be good. We spent a bulk of the early part of February removing snow and ice from the greens, because as everyone knows in Colorado, you're gonna catch some of those 60-degree days, upper 50-degree days and windy days where that snow melts down and then creates an ice layer on top of the surface, which you want to be very careful of allowing that to stay stagnant for a period of time, because it will essentially suffocate the POA on the greens themselves. Bent grass can last a little bit longer, much longer actually. So the new number 18 green was not a concern at all. It was the last one we cleared. But prior to the last snowstorm, we did have all the greens cleared of all snow and all ice, which was a pretty good effort from the team. So excited about that. You know, in addition, and I don't ever really like to roll with the slides because people can read that. But in addition to that, the team's working on the furniture, fixtures and equipment updates. We have some new tee markers for this season that have the brand of the Sentinel Rock on top of them that I brought in today for those in attendance to look at. They'll look pretty sharp. Refurbishing benches, painting a bunch of stuff up. We got the new top dresser that the board approved last month, was able to acquire that. So we're building that as we look for a mechanic to fill that shop position. So wearing a couple different hats, so I'm not much of a pretty face, I gotta contribute somehow.
Can I just ask a question about
yes.
staffing?
Yes.
So I saw something about how lots of people are looking for mechanics.
Yes,
Have you had anybody?
we have not had a nibble yet. Posted on 4 different sites, trying to use the network in the golf network. If there's an assistant mechanic out looking, it's a challenging position to fill for sure. So, but we're optimistic. I think we have a good shop. We have good equipment that's been very well maintained, a small to medium sized fleet. So it really appealing to the right person for sure.
Jason, how about the trade schools?
That's my next avenue is going to them. We're for sure willing to train and teach people. It's not something that there's really, you know, you can go to school for agronomy or turf grass management, but not so much like say turf specific mechanic. I had a Porsche mechanic back in the day. The cuts were terrible, but everything looked fantastic. He was a heck of a guy. We had a left and a right, and the guy that was in charge of the quality of cut kept all that in line, but just different. See if
Well, it's a
people.
broad range of machines too, right? Diesel, I mean, you get all
Yeah.
kinds of.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
electrical diagnosis, hydraulic diagnosis, quality of cut, which is probably the most important thing. Cleanliness, obviously, safety in the shop is really important because a lot can go wrong in those areas. So, again, still optimistic that we'll fill somebody. We changed the oil today in a piece of equipment that was due, so it's not something that gets pushed to the side for sure. We're confident enough to do some of the smaller things, and even grinding. I grew up in Maine in the wintertime when you're socked into the cold weather there. We grind reels and adjust reels and stuff like that. Not my favorite thing to do, but oh well. Wanted to say thank you to the board for a quick approval on 4 trees that I was looking to remove, left at number 12 green to help improve that turf surface. I've been monitoring that for 2 years, and it just becomes difficult. Every winter is a little bit different. This year we've had a lot more snow, not so much a lot more snow, just we had some rain early prior to a snowstorm, and then that snow has sat there. So we're battling a little bit of ice on the left-hand side of that green. And the only way we have a chance to fight through that is with sunlight and tree removal. So we're able to go in, look at an app as well. There's a Sun Seeker app, which gives you the trajectory of the path of the sun that carries across the horizon at different times of the year. So by removing a couple key trees, it gives us windows in. It's not a clear cut, but it gives us windows in that horizon at key times to allow for the snow and the ice to melt in that area. And it's already doing wonders. So really excited for that. Going back to staffing, still interviewing TN candidates. We have 2 people committed that have consulate appointments, plus Carlos coming back. Hoping to get a 3rd, still working on that. And as he said, we'll ramp up with staff. There are several key members that are interested in coming back in April, and that's when we really jump up at that point. From a project standpoint, 18 is still pretty much stagnant due to the weather. Every time we get a chance and the snow melts off, you get another storm coming in. And plus to understand, it's frozen in some of those areas out there and really slick when the snow melts. I mean, Keith and I talk a lot about trying to figure out how we project out. Are we going to be able to open? Can we get 6 holes open? And just even traversing out there gets to be difficult when we have that much water flowing. So Jonathan's done a good job too. He's got a drone, so we're out taking some overhead shots of, again, water channels, water flows, so that we can share that with the membership. I would like to say and give some acknowledgement to a member, Dan Stringer. He's helping me out quite a bit with our Autobahn certification. Dan's been a member here for quite some time. I want to say around 15 years, I think, was part of our conversation. He's identified 87 species of birds. I'm not sure if I shared that at last board meeting, but I wanted to make sure I did, and I'm sure the team is sick of hearing that. But 87 species of birds is pretty spectacular around Perry Park. I can probably pick out a dozen. So he's been super invaluable in assisting with that. So that's what I got. Any questions?
None in the chat.
Is there a certain number you have to identify to get the certification?
No, it's more of a wildlife category where they're just asking you to inventory wildlife in general around the golf course. But there is a large section on birds, so.
Be great if you do something for Fairway Views. I mean, I'd love to read more about it.
I'll reach out to them. For sure.
Get an image of all this.
Those are the 12 that I know, that I have 12 pictures of. The rest of them, I've got some work to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, everyone, Diana from the membership committee. Just want to put some feelers out there. We are looking for membership committee volunteers. So if you're a member and you're interested in helping and joining our committee, we're accepting all types of members. Public experience would be preferred, but just membership, marketing, all the above. You can reach out to myself or either Nate. Currently reporting on January, so we are at captain 308.5 as of January 31st. Top two updates for January acquisitions. We were able to acquire one full golf and one professional and one transfer from junior to full. And our initiation fee updates, full golf 15,000, junior golf now 7,500 and professional 6,000, social that 500. This is membership data by type. So we're sitting at 202 full equity members, 188 social, 59 professional. We have 2 on the wait list and they will be moving off the next 2 months. Total golf 372 and social centennial are 191.
You okay, good? Oh, gosh.
Membership retention data, we did have 10 resignations in January. The top 2 reasons are did not use and also moving. And also we did have including 7 social and 4 golf memberships. As far as our resignation percentage, we started from last year. So right now our resignation percentage is at 1%, and we just hope to not go over 10, and we didn't last year, so. We'd like to welcome new and returning members. Let's make a welcome Michael Gunter and Jenna McConnell and Jane and Cole Carner. They are social members, and you see them around, please welcome them. And they were 2 referrals from 2 of our current member families, so we appreciate our members speaking well about your club. As far as the marketing and communication, we have a new look to the fair review, so I'd like to shout out my assistant Emily. She's been working really hard, so that is it's a nice updated look, so that's gonna launch for in-March. We have 2 open houses this coming month, 16th and the 30th. So welcome all prospective members. We do have the look of our new website launching in March as well. And then we'd like to congratulate Lanny for winning 2nd place for women's golf instructor. But last but not least, I'd like to thank Bob Bosch for volunteering and also now helping with membership and golf MAC committee meetings.
And I was gonna thank you because my name is on that slide and you did all the work.
I'll teach you all about it. Thanks, everyone.
Hey guys, Chef Justin here. Talking about the kitchen here, we are ready to go, gearing up. My crew is ready to start cooking as soon as we can clear. Last week we had a kitchen tour with the house committee. Couple things that we've done, floors have been repaired and repainted. Exhaust system is up and running, ceiling vents, new tiles, and a newly leased dishwasher. This dishwasher is going to help with big events, help with labor, and all kinds of sorts of good things. Oven in the kitchen did break down on New Year's Eve. We ended up replacing the motor on that. So it's up and running. Everything is ready to go. We're just waiting for that last inspection. One thing I'd like to point out is a huge thank you to the members of Perry Park for the patience during the HVAC renovation. I know it's been long, but it's been needing to be done, and can't wait to see you guys' smiling face at the club. Kevin Brown will section on the front house.
Thank you. So we have our chocolate wine dinner this coming Saturday. We already have a good attendance with 30 people attending. We can still accommodate a few more people, but it'll be a really unique event with 4 different wines from around the world, paired with Justin's awesome menu that he created just for this event. So that's exciting, and we always add a little bit more to the experience So there'll be some visual, obviously the food and the wine, but the overall vibe and atmosphere will be really fun. If you're interested in attending, please call me, let me know. We do have new silverware. We have the pattern here on the table. If anyone in the room would like to take a look. But after reviewing a few different patterns from different companies, we went with Fortessa, the Grand City pattern. If you look at it, and once you come in, we'll have it available in March, towards the middle of the month. It's night and day from what we had before. Definitely a lot more elegant, a nice weight to the silverware. And it'll create a better dining experience. So if you want to take a look, anybody in the room. So it'll add and enhance the wonderful food program that we already have. Member Rewards Nights, March 8th. We have some really fun wines for people to sample. That'll be free for member rewards. So that's on a Wednesday. And Wednesdays, we offer half-price bottle of wine, and that packs the house already. So it'll be a fun and sociable evening. And that's all I have. Any questions for food and beverage?
There are not, none in the chat.
Awesome. Some flyers that we have for upcoming events in March, music nights and a really cool kids event. It'll be in this room. We have Randy Lewis from Party Safari. He'll be showcasing his live animals. He'll have some reptiles, snakes, lizards, tarantulas, something different for the kids to enjoy. There won't be any food and beverage in the room. But it'll be fun atmosphere for kids. Parents and families are welcome to make reservations before or after the event. So just trying to add more to the lineup for events that week.
Good stuff.
Is there any, member comments?
No additional comments or questions.
Okay. Is any comments from the committee chairs on any members' participation this month? Anything special? We're looking forward to having the club open up fully and excited for getting back to normal operations. So, I get a motion for adjournment. Second,
Second.
all in approval?
Aye.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thanks.